Hi, my name is Professor Leuschner, and I'm on the faculty at Rutgers Business School in the Department of Supply Chain Management. I would like to talk to you about the future of supply chain management as we see it. And when we think about what lays ahead, we think of three separate topics. And the first topic is digitized, automated, and driven by AI. And that talks about what we'll be able to do with technology to improve how the supply chain functions going forward. The other big topic is the individualized, customized design, production, and delivery of products and services, and how all of that is going to evolve in the future. And lastly is the seamless integration of product, information, and financial flows. And those are the three fundamental flows in the supply chain. And right now they're still rather disjointed. And I think in the future we'll find a way to make them seamless and to make them really act as one. And that's going to change a lot of things. So now let's jump right in to the digitized, automated, and driven by AI supply chain. What we mean by that is that when we look at all of the physical processes in the supply chain, there's also a digital aspect on the flow of information that we have to make better. And there are three specific strategies that companies are working on to make the flow of information better. The first one is called the digital twin. And the digital twin is really about connecting the physical and the digital world. So everything that happens in the physical supply chain will be replicated in digital form. So then we have a one-to-one mapping of every single activity in data as well. And then we can use all of that data to make the supply chain better, to integrate processes, make them more efficient, and see any possibility of an error even before it could possibly occur in the physical world. The next big activity is the use of blockchain. And blockchain, with its wide variety of uses, has already transformed certain industry. And there's a lot of promise in the use of blockchain technology in the supply chain, because we can make our contracts with customers and suppliers smarter. We'll be able to move money around, and we'll be able to automate certain functions that still are taking a lot of time and resources to accomplish right now. Lastly is cloud systems. To this day, we still have a lot of processes that are housed on proprietary servers and computers in each organization. However, if you want to manage this network of companies that spans across the globe, you need to have information systems that are connected to each other. And the cloud is the perfect opportunity to accomplish that. By having every company in the supply chain connect to the same cloud system, we can truly integrate all of the different activities that occur in the supply chain. Now let's move over to the factory of the future. And that is going to get us to a point where we can really improve efficiency and effectiveness of what we do in terms of producing our products. So in the traditional factory, we used automation and machines to make the work of humans more efficient. The next step in the evolution was automated factory, where robots were doing a lot of the activities independently of human intervention. Once a robot is set up, it pretty much can operate autonomously. And you just have to supervise it. Now, in an intelligent factory, and that's the next thing that we might see across many of our supply chains, we rely on real-time analytics. And those analytics aren't the analytics we're used to today, but they're adaptive. They can react to changes in the data without human intervention. We might also see self-learning machines that are able to correct errors as they go along, purely driven by the information that they create and analyze at the same time. And we might even get to self-correcting machines that have the ability to sense what they're doing, and they will also be able to avoid mistakes before they even happen. Lastly, let's talk about AI sensing supply chains, and that might be one of the most interesting topics when it comes to the connection of the digital and the physical supply chain. So when we look at how we use data, there's an evolution. And the first one is to analyze existing data. And that's simply looking in the rearview mirror, saying that what do we see? What patterns occurred in the past? Then from that, next step could be to predict. So if we take the patterns we saw in the past, how can we predict them into the future? However, the real game changer is going to be once supply chains become sensing. And that is only going to happen through the use of artificial intelligence when we are allowing the technology to not just analyze and predict, but also sense and react at the same time. And this will take some of the human elements out of the supply chain and also at the same time take out human errors. The next topic I would like to discuss is the supply chain that can be efficient and produce in mass quantity, yet produce unique products and deliver them individually. So there are already examples of companies out there that allow you, the consumer, to design your own product. So they basically give you all of the options and you then put together the product as you want it. And they will produce just one of these products, and they may use a 3D printing technology, but regardless, it is made by you. And it could also be, because it's 3D printing, it doesn't have to be in a factory far away. You might even have that 3D printer sitting in your house. And you just download the information and the product is just created on demand. And lastly, if we have to have delivery will be automated and it will be one-on-one. Think about the use of drones that we've already heard about. Now the last main point I want to make about the future of supply chain goes back to the three fundamental flows of the supply chain, and those are the movement of products, the movement of information, and the movement of finances across the network of companies. And currently, when we look at how supply chains are operated, products may go on one path, information is going on a different path, and finances are flowing on a completely different path as well. And in many cases, these three flows are not necessarily integrated. So a movement in the physical world doesn't necessarily result in data produced in the information flow. And it may not automatically trigger a payment to a supplier in the financial world. Now, whenever you have this disjointed nature of fundamental flows that are creating the backbone of the supply chain, there are not just the opportunities, but the high likelihood that there are inefficiencies. And one of the key features of the supply chain of the future is that these flows are not going to be disjointed any longer. And as supply chain executives and professionals are figuring out how to translate and synchronize these flows in the supply chain, I think there are huge opportunities to make the supply chain a much more efficient way to not design products, source them, build them, deliver them, integrate with customers and suppliers, and make the whole supply chain a much more effective and efficient machine to deliver value to the customers. So these are the three areas in which I think the supply chain of the future is going to move. I'm looking forward to hear some of your thoughts. Maybe I missed something. Maybe you think there are other factors that should be at play here. I would love to hear from you. But this is what I thought of. And I'm happy to talk to you and hear what you have to say. Thank you so much.